Corey Dunn, AL2, Effective Communication, Sport Coaching. The purpose of athletes during doing interviews: when do they do them and why? The purpose of athletes doing interviews is that it allows the public to know the athlete's feelings after or before a match. It normally occurs at the end of the matches. Maybe talking to the man of the match or the top goal scorer, it allows athletes to rant about decisions made against or decisions in the match, good or bad. They also do interviews during press conferences. Two types of interviews you have chosen to talk about from your PowerPoint. Give relevant examples of the type of interview you have chosen. TV. On TV, such as sport update channels, they will show interviews from players and managers. Interviews are frequent in the transfer season in football, as players are being bought to new clubs and the fans of the teams would want to know the intentions of the players for their team and have an understanding what they may expect from the players. Radio. Players will have interviews on the radio so the public and fans understand the players and expectations coming to the team and the players around the club. The two types of significant others you have chosen to talk about from your PowerPoint. Give relevant examples of the athletes with communicate with them. Sponsorship. Athletes will gain sponsorships from brands such as Nike or Adidas. The athletes will have communication with each other to organise photo shoots or charity events. It's important for the sponsorship to have a good communication with the athlete, as it will help gain reputation and the athlete will be wearing the brand clothing or footwear. So both sides are benefiting for each other. Coaches. Coaches and athletes should have good communication as they're working for the same team, and if there's anything bad going on, the player and coach, it may create tension and bad morale for the club and the coach and the player within the club. If the coaches and players communicate, it will help build stronger morale within the camp and reflect within the sport. Coaches should be able to communicate with athletes well so they can teach new skills and techniques to be used in the sport. When the athletes are communicating with sponsorships, it will be initially via email, so it would not be verbal, as they use the network to inform each other. However, some interactions between the two would be verbal, as they might have meetings or photo shoots. The athletes would use open questions when in a meeting, as they would need to find out about the deal on sponsor, and they will understand the contract given. This would have a nice tone and talk nice and polite, as they would want to set a good example for the sponsor dealers. Athlete and coaches will have verbal communication with each other. Coaches will have more firm tone in their voice and try to be persuasive to help gain the knowledge and point across to the athlete. Athletes will be more open questions and less of a tone of a voice when talking to coaches. Athletes will understand that coaches are there to help and will help them improve to become a better athlete. Compare the differences of communication for media and significant others. Radio. Appearance, not important, but what you say is, as people cannot see body language. If an athlete was to go on the radio to talk, their appearance would not have to be formal as it would be if you were having an interview for sponsor. The appearance will not be shown on the radio, as it's just the voices you hear, which will mean the public will not understand any body language you do, so they will have to rely on the tone of your voice and your communication skills. With an interview with a sponsor, it involves your voice and your body language. The way you speak to a sponsor will be different to how you talk on a radio show, and you may use specialist vocabulary in the meeting. In a radio show, they will be the one asking questions to you, which is same as a sponsor, but you may be required or want to have an incline to the contract. You may have a few questions before signing the contract. It is important for athletes to plan for their interviews, as they want to be seen organised and not seem under pressure. If they plan before the interview, such as possible questions, they will have revised what to say and ready for answer anything that happened. But if you didn't plan and didn't feel ready, you may collapse under pressure. This can be shown through the tone of your voice and your body language throughout the meeting/interview. The importance of planning for both career as an athlete for a backup career. What might happen to an athlete if they stop playing suddenly? If an athlete was to stop doing the sport for a period of time, they may not be at the same standard they were before they stopped. This may be because they have gained an injury that had required them to stop from their sport for a period of time. They will not lose all sporting skills, but they would not be able to be up to the same level and may have missed out on a drill or new drills in training to help them improve, but they missed them. What goal setting and SWOT analysis are and how they help the planning process. Goal setting is a plan that will help you reach your target. You would use SMART to help plan a set target for you to improve on. The purpose of this is so that you would have an idea where you may be after some time, and so you set yourself goals to achieve this. What is SWOT analysis? A study undertaken by an organisation to identify its internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as its internal opportunities and threats. A SWOT analysis for an athlete and sport. Select someone in your class for your SWOT analysis. Nicholas Smith, football coach career. Identify their strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Strengths, good idea of the rules and laws of football, have experience in coaching in football, good football player, confidence, good communication skills and social skills. Weaknesses, unorganised, opportunities, coaching. Threats, competition from other coaches in clubs. Identify the athlete's short-term goals. This athlete wishes to achieve the first few levels of his FA coaching qualification and have the basic level of coaching with a small group of individuals and help to manage people achieve better within their sport to play better. Identify the athlete's medium-term goals. Hopes to save an income with the coaching and have further knowledge of the sport and coaching. He will hopefully have a small team or will have a good career in the club coaching players. At the end of 6 months plus, Nick will have full experience in coaching and will understand what will make him a good coach, understand what certain people's needs are and how to approach them whilst coaching. He will be at an elite level and will be able to perform at a high standard. SMART target, selective for weakness. SMART target, unorganised. He can learn to help himself out by doing little jobs and getting equipment ready before a session. A SWOT analysis for second career, physiotherapist. Identify the weaknesses, strengths, opportunities and threats. Strengths, motivated, easy learner. Weaknesses, unorganised. Opportunities, could have a career out of sport or he could work within the sports. Threats, competition. Short-term goals. They could have sorted out basic qualifications and tried to go on courses to help them with experience in the field. Medium-term goals. They will have experience and start to apply for jobs in sports or doctoring. They will have the education and will have basic experience, start working in a workplace, doing physiotherapy. After an elongated amount of time, Nick will manage to have a good career and good enough experience to work in a higher place and category due to experience. He can then also decide at this point where would be the best place to work, thinking about future and what would be best for him. Whether he wants to work within a sports team or whether he would want to stay in a doctor's room helping people. And if he really wants to, he could do stuff associated with physiotherapy such as chiropractic so he can gain a new knowledge. Nick will have to gain experience whilst doing a university degree in physiotherapy. He will need sports studies and biology at merit grades and higher. He would need a 2-year course in university and a year placement in a workplace.